James Turner for the untouchable True School Sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and discuss this. You know, I got the old school Everlast boxing glove on the wall, so that's a nice little touch of class. That's a nice little touch of, you know, artistry from your boy BT. You know, but listen, man, interesting stuff going on with the WBA featherweight rankings. You know, as many of you guys know, Bruce Carrington, he was ranked the #1 featherweight in the WBA rankings. But guess what? Following his loss to Suleiman Sagawa, he has been removed from the WBA rankings. He has been replaced. He has been supplanted by none other than Philadelphia's very own Stephen Fulton. Yes, Stephen Fulton is your #1 ranked WBA featherweight contender, which means then in all likelihood, in all reality, Stephen Fulton is going to get a title shot against Nick Ball, provided that Nick Ball can win tomorrow against Ronnie Rios. You know, he hasn't officially been mandated as the mandatory challenger yet, but I think that's a fight that would be very attractive for Nick Ball if he's able to beat Ronnie Rios and you know, Frank Warren and them. And you know, I don't think Stephen Fulton's one of those fighters that PBC would just like keep here in the States. They let him go fight Inoue in Japan. Why wouldn't they let him go to Saudi and fight, you know, Nick Ball? Because it'll be the most profitable scenario he could be in. You know, and one thing about Al Heyman and PBC is that he's a shrewd businessman, and I don't think he'll prevent that fight from happening, because it's the most lucrative scenario for Stephen Fulton. Now, honestly, really and truthfully, I would rather I hope the WBA calls a final eliminator, because right now I know Fulton is 1. I'm not sure where Shushu got ranked, but I would assume he's 2 or 3. So maybe they could be in a final eliminator, or Mirko Cuello against Stephen Fulton in a final eliminator. I would like him to fight either one of those two guys, because I feel like those are both attractive fights. Those would both tell us a lot more about who is who in the featherweight division, and they had to earn the title shot against Nick Ball or the Ronnie Rios winner. But let's unpack this, right? Because let's just act and pretend like Stephen Fulton is getting the title shot next, and let's say Nick Ball does do the business and does beat Ronnie Rios. Let's kind of look ahead to that for a little bit. The question is, can Stephen Fulton beat Nick Ball? And I was just watching Nick Ball today. You know, I was just rewatching the Raymond Ford fight with him today, and honestly, I think Stephen Fulton can beat Nick Ball. In fact, I'll go on record right now and say if they fight, I'm picking him to beat Nick Ball, because one thing about Nick Ball is he's got a very good work rate, but like he's not a big concussive puncher, right? He's not punching like Angelo Leo. He's not punching like Brandon Figueroa. He's not punching like, you know, a lot of these guys that Stephen Fulton has fought in the past. He's what you call in boxing an accumulation puncher. He don't have that explosive like one punch power. And in watching some of his fights today, I noticed that Nick Ball does tend to fade at times, right? So I think this will be a scenario where, you know, I think Stephen Fulton has the tools, the IQ to make the adjustment quicker than Raymond Ford. Because if you go back and you watch the Raymond Ford fight, there was an adjustment that Raymond Ford needed to make a little bit, a couple rounds earlier. He didn't make it till about the 5th round, and that was the adjustment of simply just like, you know, utilizing the uppercut more, not sticking so much with just a straight punches, but, you know, maybe looping shots or uppercuts. Because when a guy is that short and he's that much on top of you, you're gonna need to throw punches that are a bit, you know, unconventional, not down the middle, right? So it took him some rounds to figure that out, but once he did, I feel like Raymond Ford was the bigger puncher, and he did finish the fight very strong, and he did have a case to win. You know, but unfortunately for him, he left it in the judge's hands. Stephen Fulton, you know, unless he's fighting like Nayo or Inoue, right? Because Inoue is a great fighter, and, you know, he's a hard guy to make adjustments against. But apart from him, in his career, one thing he's always done very, very well is make adjustments. He understands boxing very, very well. Even in the Carlos Castro's fight, a lot of people are being very harsh and, in my opinion, hypercritical of Stephen Fulton, and they're saying, "Oh, Inoue ruined him." When he got dropped, he got up, he made the adjustment, he fought better, he got sharper as the fight went along. He was the better of the two fighters after the knockdown. So my thing is, Nick Ball is not Carlos Castro. Carlos Castro is a difficult fight to have for your first fight, coming off a 1.5-year layoff in a new weight class. anybody would struggle with Carlos Castro. Most people would struggle with Carlos Castro in that scenario. Now he's knocked off some ring rust. He's gotten back in the win column. Psychologically, that will do something for Stephen Fulton. And I just think, look, Nick Ball, he's going to be here for a good time. I don't think he'll be here for a long time. I think as champion, I don't think he'll be here for a long time, but I think he'll be here for a good time. I think Stephen Fulton will be able to, maybe he loses some rounds early on because Nick Ball does have really good hand speed in close quarters. But Stephen Fulton, I truly believe he could outbox Nick Ball from the outside, from mid range, and in the pocket. Like all three ranges, he's capable of beating him from all three of those ranges. And I don't think he's gonna stop Nick Ball, but I think he's gonna grind out a decision when they fight. And I think he is gonna be the WBA champion if they make that fight next. If Nick Ball, of course, gets past Ronnie Rios, and I think I'm gonna say towards the third or the fourth quarter of next year, one of the big fights at featherweight will wind up becoming now the rematch between Stephen Fulton and Angelo Leo, which I know Angelo Leo is very excited to get that on. I know Fulton would like to get that on and continue to add to his legacy. And I think it's a fight that boxing fans would like to see again because their first fight was very exciting. They threw like 1,009 punches, which was one of the highest in the history of 122 in a title fight. Angelo Leo has gotten better since then. He's matured. He's gotten some big-time knockouts, and he's champion again. So he's shown a lot of resilience in his career. I think it'd be a great fight for the division. So I think that's the kind of collision course we're on. And, Stephen Fulton is still someone to be respected. People, especially on YouTube, Naoya Inoue has a very rabid fan base, and rightfully so. He's a great fighter. But a lot of people, I think, are a little too quick to write off Stephen Fulton. He's not Raymond Ford. He's a smarter fighter than Raymond Ford. He's a more experienced fighter than Raymond Ford. And when that time comes to fight Nick Ball, I think he beats him like 117, 111, something like that, 118, 110 decision. Not going to be a knockout or anything like that because, Fulton wasn't punching like that at 122. He's definitely not punching like that at 126. But guess what? Neither is Nick Ball. Nick Ball's never knocked anybody out at the world-class level. The best and biggest name he probably ever knocked out in his whole career is Isaac Lowe. And Isaac Lowe's a fringe contender at best. So his lack of punching power along with his predictability and Stephen Fulton's boxing IQ, those things are all going to spell trouble for Nick Ball. And I think Stephen Fulton will be at some point in time next year, he will be your WBA champion. And if it's Ronnie Rios, even better. I think Stephen Fulton beats him too. Ronnie Rios, best of luck to him. I don't think he's got like a whole lot with him. Just being honest, his output ain't high enough to give Stephen Fulton a problem. Stephen Fulton could actually box at a very comfortable pacing as a guy like Ronnie Rios. So if somehow he gets Ronnie Rios wins and he gets a Ronnie Rios fight, even better. I think Ronnie Rios is an even more favorable matchup for Stephen Fulton than even a Nick Ball. But I want to know what you guys think. That's the news. Stephen Fulton is now the #1 contender in the WBA rankings, and he is right there knocking on the door of a title shot. I'm not sure if they're going to order a final eliminator for Stephen Fulton versus Bruce Carrington or Stephen Fulton versus Mirko Cuello, but he's in position. And it's a fight that definitely is worth exploring and talking about in 2025. So, yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Stephen Fulton could beat Nick Ball if he fights him next year at featherweight for the title? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm at the Boxing Hall of Fame out here in Contender, New York. And for more great boxing content just like this video, make sure you click and subscribe right over here.